All right, in lesson 1-5, we're going to be subtracting integers. So if we look at the key concept here, to subtract an integer, add its opposite or its additive inverse. So basically what that means is subtracting a positive is just like adding a negative. So in this case, 4 minus 7, we can also write 4 plus negative 7. Notice how when they wrote it as addition, they put the negative inside parentheses because we don't ever like to put two symbols right next to each other, so we put it inside of parentheses. And then from here, we can say, okay, the negative has a greater absolute value, so the answer will be negative. Okay, I have $4 and I owe $7, so it means I'm going to owe $3 left over. So it's just the same thing here. We have A plus negative B, okay, and then whichever letter is greater absolute value, that one will keep its same sign. Alright, so find 2 minus 6. In your homework, if you see a problem like this, you're going to first copy the original problem, 2 minus 6. Then in the next line, you're going to write it as an addition problem. We're changing everything to addition. Even if you can do this in your head, I want to see it written as an addition problem. So 2 plus negative 6. Okay, now, the positive number is 2, the negative number is 6, okay? So we know that the answer will be negative, so I'm going to write that over there and circle it. All right, if I have $2 and I owe $6, it means I'm going to owe $4. Okay, so basically you just have to do 6 minus 4, and you know the difference is, or I'm sorry, 6 minus 2. Okay, if you do 6 minus 2 and you know the difference is 4, okay, we knew that the symbol was going to be negative because the negative number had a greater absolute value. So that's why we learned about absolute values, to help us with adding and subtracting integers. So this right here is exactly what I expect to see while you are doing your homework. All right, first you write the original problem, change it to addition, and then evaluate the expression. All right, so first, copy the problem, -7 minus 5. Now, change it to addition. Now, this out here is not subtraction. This is just a negative number saying I owe $7. So that does not change. You don't change this to addition. Now, we will say I owe $7 and I owe $5. Remember the other day whenever I said the addition symbol, I said the word and. Okay, so we want to say I owe $7 and I owe $5. Now, since both of them are owing money, you know it's going to be negative. So all you have to do is add 7 and 5 to get 12. And we knew it was going to be negative, so you owe $12. This right here is exactly how I expect to see your homework for this type of problem. So now, not only do you have your notes, but you have, you know how I expect to see your homework look. All right, first things first, copy the problem. 11 minus -8. Okay, now, if we read this, we have, just like the last problem, it says, I owe 7 and, so you change this to addition, and I owe 5. Okay, now, again, I want you to write that original problem, so I don't actually want you to put that in there, okay? But that's what we changed to. I owe 7 and I owe 5. Every time you see a negative, you should say the word owe. Okay, now this part here might sound a little funny, but listen. This says I have 11, oh. Okay, so kind of like sounding like uh-oh. All right, now whenever you say uh-oh, that's a problem. Okay, if you think of maybe like a younger brother or sister, cousin, or something like that, whenever they say uh-oh, you know, they maybe dropped something and broke it, or they lost something. Uh-oh means there's a problem. So whenever we see two negatives in a row, that means we have an uh-oh. Okay, of course we are saying oh, okay, but it sounds like we are saying uh-oh. All right, so whenever you have two in a row, obviously then we are going to fix the problem. We're going to fix the uh-oh. All right, so we're going to change from 11, 008, we're going to say 11, I have 11 and I have 8. All right, we're going to go ahead and fix and change both of those to addition. Again, because that is a problem, So we're going to fix it by changing it to addition, okay? Just like before, all right, this technically was a positive number, so we added the opposite. All right, so now we are going to add the opposite. The opposite of a negative is a positive. So now we have 11 plus 8 is 19. Okay? All right, so we look at this one. If the overnight temperature at a research station in Antarctica was negative 13 degrees Celsius, but the temperature rose to 2 degrees during the day, what was the temperature difference between the temperatures? All right, so first we got to figure out what type of problem is it going to be. Well, first of all, the idea today is we're subtracting integers, and the key word here is what is the difference. All right, so we take our 2 degrees, and then we have to subtract because we're trying to find the difference. Okay, we're subtracting the negative 13 degrees. We want to find the difference between that on the number line. Now, if we were going to look at a number line, okay, if this is 0 way up here, all right, here's your 2 degrees, and then way down here would be your negative 13 degrees. All right, so they want to know what's the difference. Well, to get from here to 0, all right, you got to add 13, and then you got to add 2 more. So we know that the answer is going to be 15, positive 15, because again, we're talking about the difference. We're talking about the distance between. So again, I have 2 and uh-oh. Okay, if we have an uh-oh, we fix it. So we go 2 plus 13, and that gives us 15 degrees Celsius difference in our daytime temperature to our nighttime temperature. All right, so evaluate 12 minus r if r is negative 7. So first, let's copy 12 minus r, then let's substitute. So 12 minus, substitute in parentheses, we have negative 7. Okay, if you can't just put, we don't count this as a negative sign. It was there already. Okay, so this is where I said you have to substitute with parentheses. Okay, so I have 12 and uh-oh. So let's fix it. We go 12 plus 7, and then our answer is 19. All right, so how I'm showing you it here, this is how you need to do homework. Okay, so we shouldn't have any more questions on how homework is going to look. It looks just like this. All right, so we have q minus p squared. Now let's substitute. Okay, q is negative 3, so let's put it in parentheses. Minus p is 6, and we're going to square it. Okay, so now order of operations is PEMDAS. All right, we have to do our exponents first. So let's do negative 3, and then we're going to minus or subtract. 6 times 6 is 36. Okay, and now let's change this to addition. Okay, so we're going to do negative 3. I owe 3, and I owe 36. Now they're both negative, so we know the answer is going to be negative. So we just add the 2 together. Okay, just like if you're a number line. Okay, if here's negative 3, now we're going to go negative 36 more. Okay, so we got to add the 2 together. So we're going to have negative 39 for our answer. Okay, because you started at negative 3, and now we're going to add even further to the negative side. So that kind of helps you remember that we need to go further negative. Okay, I know dealing with these negatives and while subtracting, it gets more and more difficult. Okay, so I highly recommend using number lines if you're having trouble. Also, whenever you're substituting, use parentheses. And something also really helps me is saying I have or I owe. Whenever you see a negative, you say I owe. Whenever you see a positive, you can say that I have. And when you start thinking about money, it gets a little bit easier. Okay, so like this, I owe somebody $3. And I owe somebody $36. So I owe 3 and owe 36. So obviously altogether you owe $39. Okay, that's the last example for today. So be sure to check Moodle to find out what your homework is and go ahead and get started.